What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you want to see the full live stream that this video is from, click the link in the description down below. But before we get into this, make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, and let's get it. But this one is, what's the difference between chivalry and simping? I guess it's kind of a good thing that I decided I'm not going to stream this on Twitch today, because I don't know if you even know that's a bad word, but that's stupid that it is, or was in the first place, if it's not anymore.
Go from being about medieval battle etiquette to serving women through courtship.
Men trying to get laid.
Oh, now he's putting the, oh, that's tough.
Do you think we have a simping problem in this country, and if
Absolutely.
so, why?
There's definitely a simping problem in this country. Some people might call it a problem. Some people might be capitalizing off of it. It depends on your views.
It's an epidemic.
Do you believe that chivalry is dead and feminism killed it?
I don't think that feminism is just
He's about to catch her.
The equality of both the sexes. No, but yes, I do think it is dead.
Feminism, I think, is misunderstood in that it's women being treated equally. And I guess in a way that would destroy the traditional idea of chivalry, in that instead of the man doing everything for the woman, they should do things for each other. It just seems fair.
You know, before, a woman wouldn't ask for it. A man would just do that, and that shows that he's a gentleman. Now, women are demanding these things. Like, you got to take me out, you got to pay for the whole bill.
Not even that, bro. Not even that. You'll do it, and you'll get punished for it in different ways. Either with, I can do this, I don't need da-da-da-da-da, or they might not give you that energy, and if you keep trying to be chivalrous, this is what you're gonna be right there. That's what you're gonna be right there.
That means that I have all the power, and anything that I want, the dude has to do before he can get what I got going on here.
If you don't, you're not getting
Shorty,
no ass. Like, and it's like,
listen, respectfully, you are mid at best. And that's saying something.
it shouldn't be an agreement like that.
Men are typically expected to approach women, ask them out, pick them up, pay for dates, make the first move. What part of the current dating process isn't chivalry?
I'm not sure who expects those things, because everyone I know, the women I know, they expect to pay 50-50 when they go out with someone new.
Yeah,
And
you're a court jester for a
chivalry
reason,
isn't
bro.
really a one-sided thing.
I just think that's just what you have to do as a man. Me as a woman, I'm not going to go up to no man and try to take a man out on a date.
How can chivalry be dead when simping is alive and well?
Ooh.
I don't believe that simping is alive and well.
What are you talking
I think
about?
it's a,
oh, hold
I
on,
think
hold
it's
on.
a part of the
It's not alive and well. It's alive and unwell, unfortunately.
etiquette standards that we were raised with, that we don't really know the origins.
What's the difference between simping and chivalry?
I feel like the difference between chivalry is that a
Reciprocating.
man is being a man and he's catering to like his woman and like trying to like get a girl, and I feel like simping is kind of just like they're super desperate.
The difference between simping and chivalry is chivalry is manners. Chivalry is how well you were raised to be mannerable.
Not
towards
that, bro,
people
not that.
And people of the opposite sex. I think simping is where you.
The only difference is, well, there's two differences, but I guess it just all boils down to the big difference is reciprocation. If you're simping, you're doing it to someone, like, you can't. Okay, well, you can. Okay, all right. In a healthy relationship, you can't simp on your wife. It's impossible. There's no way to simp on your wife in a healthy relationship. So the big difference is the reciprocation.
You get taken advantage of because of that very reason.
If men are taught to give women preferential treatment and women are taught to expect preferential treatment, how is that not simping?
Because there's a difference, there's a role between a woman and there's a role between a man, and I still believe in the traditional like 1960s, like the woman stays home and with the kids and raise it, and the man provides.
What does feminine chivalry look like?
Feminine chivalry looks like she'll take you out on a date sometimes. Or she's bringing things to the table.
Exist.
She might not take out the trash.
Short question.
But she might cook you a meal. And I think that goes hand in hand. Like, we need more of that. It should be 50-50.
How do modern women typically respond if you ask them to make you a sandwich?
Modern women, some women will tell you to go do it yourself, or I'm not your mom.
And what are you going to say? What are you going to say?
Go on about how you're misogynist and how you're abusive and all that stuff.
Even if women did cook and clean, which they already do for themselves anyway, why would that be a fair trade for the sacrifices men are expected to make?
Ooh.
Traditionalism.
I think it's unfair to just use the example of cooking and cleaning because women do a lot more. If you're a wife, or sorry, a mother.
Listen, they barely do that, let's be honest. Let's be honest. I'm surprised he might still say it, but I'm surprised that he's not saying how, like, or at least I think if he was phrased this question differently, how you'll say, damn it, hold on, I know something one of them said that really got me to think
Ask them to make you a sandwich.
Modern women, some
On about
Did cook and clean, which they already do for themselves anyway. Why would that be a fair trade for the
Oh, I thought he was gonna say, which they already do for themselves. Why is it an issue when you add the person you're supposed to, you know, care about and love?
Sacrifices men are expected to make.
Traditionalism.
I think it's unfair to just use the example of cooking and cleaning because women do a lot more. If you're a wife, or sorry, a mother, there's a lot to do within that. So
I don't think it's a fair trade. There's always going to be more pressure on the man to provide, to keep his job, to basically hold the world on his shoulders. It's not a fair trade at all. It never will be.
Why would women appreciate the sacrifices men make if men are going to continue making those sacrifices regardless?
Exactly. That is a great one right there.
I think that women are never going to appreciate it the same way that it has ever been appreciated, simply because now they're being conditioned to believe that they're entitled to it simply because they're a woman.
Hold on now.
See, and that goes back into the simping. Some guys like they're not even man enough to be like to have their own I don't want to say confidence, but at least respect for yourself.
Exactly.
If a woman turns
disgusting,
you down,
bro.
You go to the next one. The thing about these simps is that
you know what they need to do when instead of saying gay son or daughter, they need to say simp son or daughter. Cause like, listen, let's say we put all three into a category, or like let's say you put all three of them and we have to rank them. I'm going gay son, daughter, simp son. Like, a simp is, I don't know, bro. Like, I'd rather none of them, to be honest. I'd rather none of them. The first one, I can tolerate. It's not what I prefer, but the second one, that's a huge failure. And then the third one is just, how are you related to me, my nigga? Like, when I see someone simping like crazy, I'm just like, bro. At some point, it's just like, at first you're like, I feel sorry for you. And then when it comes to a certain point where it's just like, bro, are you a masochist? Like, what's up with you, dude?
It would let a woman disrespect them and still give her money and still try to, you know, play the game with her. And I'm like, yeah, you're not even a man to me at that point.
Exactly.
Why is a man expected to proudly give away his assets in the hopes that a woman will reciprocate?
Because it's common throughout nature for the males to give trinkets to the females in order to get what they want.
So how can men complain about simping at the same time we're telling men they have a masculine duty to protect and provide for women?
There's a thin...
this is the problem. Nobody here is like saying what the big difference between it is. Like I said, it's reciprocated. So like, you go out and like, even if like you got a whole bunch, like if you weren't able to close the deal on, you went through a whole line of, okay, you got the number, you planned the date, and nothing came from it. You did that a whole bunch of times. Even that is not even simping. That's just kind of like, okay, you need to work on what you're going to do to close the deal. But if you're constantly trying and you're not getting anywhere and you're giving something that's clearly not reciprocated, that's when it's simping. But on the other hand, if you do the same thing, it may be the second or third date, like, that's when it's like she's really opening up, and then that's when things start getting reciprocated. That's the difference.
Thin line. There's a thin line between being a man and simping, and when we blur that line,
It's not even a
we're
thin
now
line, bro.
confused about what a man is.
Why do men have a masculine duty to serve women, but women don't have a feminine duty to serve men?
They should.
I think it has a lot to do with our upbringing and the media and television. You're supposed to do everything for a woman in order to gain her love or trust.
How is that not simping if it doesn't go both ways?
It is simping.
Oh,
it
there
definitely
it
is
goes,
simping.
the
It doesn't go
reciprocated.
both ways. That's right. Yeah.
I think it is simping. I think people need to wake up, and I think chivalry needs to die if it's not reciprocated.
How can relationships ever be 50-50 if the man is always the one who's expected to sacrifice himself for the woman and serve her with chivalry?
That is a misleading question, because the man isn't always expected to give up everything for the woman. My relationships have always been 50-50
Yeah, I
and
can
have
tell.
been happy.
If men admit women will never be happy, why are men bound
His
to
wrist
please
go,
them?
I know his
Because
wrist go a
that's
little
what
limp
society
too.
tells them to do. Because now, with the new age of feminism, it's all about entitlement, in my opinion.
Hold on, she kind of
If
spinning
chivalry is
facts.
supposed to go both ways, why are we always shaming the men to give more and not women?
Oh,
It's just that double standard.
It could come down to biology. That there are a lot of things that socially men are expected to do, carry heavy things, get the door, whatever. Women don't have that stigma yet, which is a positive, that I'm not expected to do that. But, I mean, in the sense that I don't have to, and if I do, I get extra points. But I think it stems from men have always been expected to do that. So if they don't, they're rude. Women have never been expected to do it. So if they don't do it, they're just another woman.
Why do men want to protect and provide by nature, but women don't want to cook and clean by nature?
I feel like it just depends on the woman, because where I come from, like my family, that's naturally how we are. The men protect us and we cater to our men.
Women by nature.
am I tripping? Like towards the middle of it, like she'll say stuff that I agree with, but I'm pretty sure she said something ridiculous at the beginning. All right, hold on. 747.
There's that we were raised with, that we don't really know the origins.
What's the difference between simping and chivalry?
I feel like the difference between chivalry is that a man is being a man and he's catering to like his woman and like trying to like get a girl, and I feel like simping is kind of just like they're super desperate.
The difference.
I guess it was kind of like she. Maybe it was because she didn't like really give like a good definition.
Because there's a difference, there's a role between a woman and there's a role between a man, and I still believe in the traditional.
Okay, who knows? But I was also gonna say, I need to see what she look at IRL, but you know what I'm saying? We like those. But I feel like this is one where you see IRL and it's just like, that's not what I saw in the video. There be times when I see someone and I'm like, ooh, they look good. I go to the IG. How do you not even look good on your IG? It'd be crazy, bruh. It'd be worse when you see him in person too, and it'd be like, "Oh, you look good." Not the same scenario, different scenario. "Oh, you look good," and then you see their IG, and it's like, "What is this? This shit is trash, my guy."
Women by nature want to nurture. It's in their biology, but that doesn't necessarily mean cooking and cleaning. When we were cave people, we didn't naturally want to clean our houses or our homes or our caves. So the biological need to protect that a man has, as back then a hunter, is still in the biology, and the biological expectation that women have as a nurturer is still in there. It's just defined differently by once we started buying houses, somebody had to clean them.
If chivalry did not exist, how
okay.
would women define a gentleman or a real man?
I just feel like we put so many expectations on the way like our men should act.
I think a real man is a it's not a fair term.
Because like a traditional
Okay, bro,
man, like,
you're probably
like a man,
you're
like
probably
a gentleman.
one of those thousand genders types. Like, yeah, you got the perfect outfit on, bro. You're good. Questions are over for you.
They open the door. They're respectful. They're kind. They're not like very pushy on like their partners. Like they're just respectful.
A man is whatever he happens to be, and if you're not being who you are, then there's no point in being in a relationship anyway. So,
is chivalry a choice or an expectation?
I think it's a choice.
I mean,
if
I don't
you're
really know
not
what he
who
means by
she
that
wants
question.
in the
I
way
guess
you
it's
act,
both.
then she should find someone else.
It's definitely an expectation in this country, and unfortunately, if you're not up on that game, then you don't have a choice.
Does a man's behavior change after a woman finally gives him sex? And if so, how?
It does. A man becomes less interested after he does get sex. And well, I would say a man that was only interested in sex will become less interested after he gets sex.
So isn't chivalry all about getting laid? And if so, how is that not simping?
I don't believe
because
that
you're receiving
chivalry
something at the
is
end.
all about getting laid. In this culture, I feel like that's kind of how most people are now, just because sex is something that's just given around like for free or paid for now, versus in the old days that was something that was very intimate and like very close with your partner. And I just feel like it should be back to the old days and not simping anymore.
If men have to earn sex, are men forced to simp to get their needs met?
Yeah, basically.
No.
Can you explain that? What do you mean?
See, this whole video is a trick question in and of itself, bro.
It depends on the woman, because some women will give it to a man that doesn't do that stuff for them, but a lot of women wouldn't give it up if the guy doesn't treat them like a woman and, you know, be a gentleman and stuff. So
Man,
what's the difference between being a chivalrous gentleman and being a simp?
Let's see if he actually knows.
A chivalrous gentleman does things for someone because they care about the person and want to be nice. A simp is actually not a very nice term, and doesn't really have a very clear definition anyway.
What does it mean when
I
people say
stated
that
it
it's a
multiple
man's
times.
world?
I believe they're referring to the patriarchy.
A man's world, as in men created everything around us. We are the workers. We're the ones that lay down the pavement. We're the ones that build the buildings.
They mean that men run everything and that it's just up to the man to make all the decisions, but it's not necessarily true. If you're a strong woman and you make your own choices and you're independent, you can do anything a man can.
Okay.
How is it a man's world when men are
I
bound
knew there
to
was
serve
something
women
in
through
there.
chivalry, while women can do what they want?
Yeah, I believe that that's a thing of now, this new age, especially with feminism and things like that. Society, you know, social media, platforms like OnlyFans, where it's normal to, you know, just being, you know, if you're a woman, you're entitled to men's money and men's attention and never give them anything in return.
You could say
See,
that,
that
but
one
you could
knows.
also say that
This
women
one
are
does
bound
not
to
know
serve
for sure.
men. So
How so?
you can, well, being put together, making sandwiches, cleaning the house, doing all those.
You're
typical
not
roles,
making
so.
them though.
Opening the door, giving up your seat, pulling out a chair, pumping her gas, ladies first. How is that not a public demonstration of men's inferior status to women?
I don't think it's an inferior status because you're not necessarily like submitting yourself to them. I think it's just a matter of putting an effort into that woman to make sure they feel good.
If we live in a patriarchy, why would men put chivalry upon themselves, placing them at a lower status to women?
It's not by choice.
it's a choice, because if a man does want a woman,
What are they gonna do?
He would choose to do that, and if he doesn't do it, then he probably wouldn't get the woman.
it's about these origins that we're not taught and we don't understand where they came from.
That's just a manly thing to do. And to be a gentleman.
Who defines that? Who says that that's what the man is supposed to do?
Women.
I don't know. My dad.
And my dad, but he's gone, so I don't know where it came from.
We don't understand the history of why we do these things, and we just do them because it's a cultural standard.
How did chivalry go from being about medieval battle etiquette to serving women through courtship?
That's a good one. That's tough. I mean, you just got to look at the times, how the times are changing. Back then, you're talking about like way back. Like back then, I guess, you know, the lifespan was like a lot shorter too. So, you know, people were only living to like 30, 40, something like that. When chivalry like started, where this stuff came from, where the word comes from. Yeah,
I mean, are you aware that the original term simp came from chivalrous white knight simp?
Really? I did not know that. I thought simping was like a cool new age term that kids made up.
And lastly, if we live in a patriarchy, why would men put chivalry upon themselves, placing them at a lower status to women?
I don't think that they place themselves in a lower status to women, but I don't know, if I were a man, I'd want a woman in my life, and if that's the way to get her, I'm going to do simple things like that, so.
Simple?
You got me there. You got me there.
I don't know, just saying. Oh yeah, I remember when I was first hearing it, people were like, it's abbreviation for simpleton. But I don't think that's the case. Let me see what the comments are saying. Lots of simps in the comments defending chivalry. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad that I'm not like just looking crazy. Exactly. All right, for sure. I'm like, bro, there's no way, and I feel like there's gonna be people who's like agreeing, but like, bro, yo, now actively treat women like men, no questions asked. Doesn't know any gals and expects men to pay for everything, followed by every gal in the video saying that they expect the guy to pay for everything. This is when he realizes he's a simp.
Actually, not a very nice term.
Oh. Yeah, so I'm sitting there, okay, like I've been said multiple times throughout this video. The biggest difference is reciprocation, okay? Let's say I've been on 2 dates with a girl. I get her flowers, right? Surprise her with flowers. Scenario A, she said, thank you, ha 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 ha, and she gives me a side hug, and then we'll be nice in both situations, all right? And then she texts me and says, thanks for the flowers, and then let's say, you know, she was, let's do things that I'm like, me as the person is experiencing in the situation. We're not gonna say talking bad or talking good in either situations, and those are probably gonna come. It's like, who does the man think he is bringing me flowers versus, oh, he brought me flowers, that's so nice. Let's just throw that out the window. Let's just throw that out the window, because you're gonna try to use it. Oh, I would never say anything bad, no matter who gave me flowers. Okay. So then, after that, you know, I try to set up the third date, and she's, you know, dragging on the conversations, dead ass responses. We go on a date. She's on her phone, like she's not really paying. She's not locked in, right? Now another scenario, I give her flowers, and then she's smiling. Thank you so much. She gives me a real hug. We're not even gonna jump the kissing or anything like that. She gives me a real hug. None of that side hug bullshit. We're not gonna say that she was talking good, but all right. So then she says, "Thank you so much for the flowers. That was so sweet." Da 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 da. Add some emojis. I'm setting up the third date, and the third date gets planned within less than 24 hours. And then 24 hours after that is the date, whatever time and whatever place it's gonna be. And even when you go on a date, she's still like, oh yeah, the flowers were so sweet, this, that, and the third. And let's say in that scenario, like she posts, when you get surprised with flowers at work, yada da da. Right? Those are two different scenarios. You did the same action. You gave flowers and you tried to set up the date. One was kind of like just not really reciprocating energy. That's y'all's favorite word, energy. And the other time was reciprocating. Reciprocating doesn't not necessarily mean it. It means you can say it means equal value. It doesn't mean it doesn't have to be the equal thing, right? Or it could also be like equal effort. Okay? Well, not even equal effort, but like when they're putting their effort forward, that it's getting reward instead of punished. All right? But yeah, so that, I guess that's the biggest problem. I'm not saying the video, but I'm saying like the people in the video, that's the biggest problem, is they weren't really able to differentiate with the difference between it. Now I'll say the best person answering questions by far, Shawty right here. She had like one answer that was the rest of her answers been pretty cool. Then probably homeboy right here, and then a tie in third place between Shawty right here and then Unc, you know. But on to the next video, man.